Now to the second inauguration of President Trump, his second term starting with a series of executive orders from immigration to pardons for January 6th rioters, and from cracking down on the transgender community to cracking down on electric cars. So many of his executive orders likely to spark a whole lot of controversy and disagreements in Congress. With that part of our coverage, Eyewitness News anchor Sandra Bookman live on Capitol Hill tonight. Sandra.
Bill, the pomp and circumstance of Inauguration Day started early this morning, and it is still underway at this hour. The president spent much of the day assuring America that he intends to keep his promises, and he started doing that today.
I, Donald John Trump, do solemnly swear.
Capping what is likely to be described in the history books as one of the most remarkable political comebacks ever, Donald Trump took the oath of office today as the nation's 47th president. The ceremony shoehorned into the Capitol Rotunda because of the bitter cold. Those who'd hoped to see history in person forced to watch on their phones outside the security gates.
Well, being that they moved this event indoors, we had to modify our own approach. So we set up the cell phone. We watched the entire swearing-in ceremony.
Though he promised an inaugural address focused on unifying the country and even announced a golden age under his watch, Mr. Trump didn't spare the previous administration.
We now have a government that cannot manage even a simple crisis at home, while at the same time stumbling into a continuing catalog of catastrophic events abroad.
Perhaps most representative of the new president's agenda, an avalanche of executive orders signed day one, including 2 under his so-called Restoring Sanity agenda, ending diversity, equity, and inclusion programs, and
as of today, it will henceforth be the official policy of the United States government that there are only 2 genders, male and female.
Now, again, Mr. Trump signing a slew of executive orders, among them ordering a review of law enforcement action over the last 4 years that appears to be directed at what he has called his unfair prosecution. A Trump official said today that they do expect that many of these orders will be challenged. They're ready to fight. Mr. Trump, no stranger to controversy. After all, that official said that's what the Justice Department is there for. We're live tonight on Capitol Hill. I'm Sandra Bookman, Channel 7, Eyewitness News.
Sandra, as long as you're there, let me ask you a couple of questions. You saw all the events starting from early this morning. What was your take on how the president was received? Clearly, we had a lot of cheers, but there was some uncomfortable times during that ceremony and during his speech.
I think always the other side may not like what they're hearing, but the truth of the matter is Donald Trump won the election. Nothing he said this morning was strange. He never minces words, and he didn't today. I do believe it was uncomfortable for Mr. Biden, sitting right behind the new president and hearing the way his administration was described. But in the game of politics, that is how it's played. Donald Trump won the election, so for the next 4 years, he directs the way the country wants to go.
Okay, we're going to see you a little later in this newscast, and of course tonight at 11 o'clock. Sandra, thank you very much. We want to show you, Sandra, also look at this. This is the motorcade for President Trump going from the event he just left, the big rally, and now heading for the first time in quite a few years, 4 years in fact, to the White House. And that is the motorcade. You can see everything. Talk about top security. There's just nothing on the street at all. Everything's blocked, and some people still outside. It's of course, it was very cold today, and they decided, Mr. Trump decided to move it all indoors. A few people were outdoors, but very few people on the streets right now of Washington. It's very cold, and for security, not that many people there instead.